Hello Internet, how are you? Subscribe, like, share, comment, bell, etc. etc. In this video, I will talk a bit about some monsters that I like and that they are going to be in the art book, and I wanted to showcase them, so here we go. Those are not yet illustrated in the art book style thing, so the colored picture with the layout, description, etc. so forth. So I will show black and white picture that are in the novel, because I remind you again, all the novels were still in French, unfortunately. They are illustrated. They are like between 15 and 30 illustration, black and white. Demon realms are filled with monsters, creature, wildlife, and this is very much present in my stories. The monster, the creature, the fauna. It's not that way sometimes that traveler meet a monster on their way and they have to defend their life or just maybe just abandon their belongings and shipment and everything to distract the intruder and flee with their life. Sometimes even expeditions are organized to exterminate like a nest of monsters who bother the local population, or even simpler, sometimes they are just used in war. Finally, there is also creatures who are part of a folklore, myth and legend. Some of them we simply don't know if they exist or not, because like the Eurydice we previously talked about in a previous video, the world has changed on multiple occasions. There has been war, conflict, migration, entire population migrated, or almost been simply wiped out sometimes. So it's quite normal that the fauna and even the flora sometimes follow this evolution, and it happens that sometimes they just disappear or just hide. Let's start with a classic of the imaginary universe, the werewolf, or more precisely in my universe, the Lycan as they are referred to. The Lycans are shapeshifter. They have multiple appearances. So far, we have only spotted 3 of them. One of them is the classic anthropomorphic creature, but clearly in canine style like dog or wolf, and they walk and move on 2 back legs. There's also the great wolf, like a big giant dog or wolf, but way bigger than the normal one. And finally, we have the human form. Some legend says they have more, like one we talked about is horrific appearance, an unknown thing with tentacle and teeth and so many eyes you can't even count them, but once again, rumors, but mostly crazy people. The Lycans are numerous, they are practically common in the universe. They are also ill-considered by the normal population like no human or elf, because they are sometimes inhabit the elven population, and as soon they are spotted to be a Lycan, they'll be instantly ostracized or just hunted down or hanged or into the guillotine. Those who value their life stay in spots where the civilization is not quite present, like the great forest of Mjaltur. This is the place they prefer to live because there is nothing except the very savage life, and no one will bother them here. Only the law of the strong count. They have nothing to worry about except survival, which is, for them, much preferable than the life in the city where just they have to constantly watch their back to not be spotted or to be talked about by a fellow human being or an elf. Then we have the phoenix, a mystical animal. Some perfectly know what and who they are. Others have just heard about them and they are not sure if they are true or not. It's almost like a religion. Some believe, some don't. Phoenix are in the place where only the educated and informed people know and can affirm their existence. They are cosmic entities who travel with the soul of the living. They go between dimension and world. And to be more precise, they travel via something called the interdimension. In this special space, life itself is forbidden. This is a world and a place filled with creatures who are defying law of nature and physics, and the celestial bird have the charge and responsibility to keep this monster inside the interdimension, and no one can escape. In the real world, the phoenix have the appearance of a crow and raven, but the people with the gift of sight, or people who are close to magic and have the knowledge of the universe and so forth, they can see their true appearance. It's like a mirror image. Like if they see double, they see the contour and the shape of the phoenix on the crow itself. No one really know where the phoenix came from or where their loyalty lie, because they only travel with the soul of the living. They appear, they leave. Why, how, no one know. Even the great spider Towa herself doesn't know this answer, and No one know about the interdimension, even Torwa. All that is sure about the Phoenix is that their power are great, very much great, and everyone must respect them and revere them, because apparently they have a very, very important purpose in this world. So, you wanted to see dragon, huh? Are you one of those people who just love big lizard? Good, me too! Rest assured there is some dragons in my book. In my universe, the dragons are entities of immense power, almost limitless power. They are immortal beings, extremely intelligent, and they spend much of their time thinking about problem and mental puzzle, like solving a riddle or something like that. They eat when they feel like it because they have no real need of food or even water. On the other hand, they like to sleep. They very much tend to like sleep a lot. This is a need which is always there. They must repress this temptation relentlessly forever. Very, very few people have seen a dragon, with the exception of the elf, because they have a very high lifespan. Practically no one have ever seen a dragon except the elf. Population know or think they know that dragon exists, but many decades has passed since the last dragon have been seen. Even for the elf, only the very old elf know about them. According to some sources, the dragon are at war, a war against the creator of the world, and the dragons stay together, gathered at one hidden place, thinking at the best way to fight this giant entity, and the reason why there is a conflict between dragon and creator is unknown. Except maybe, again, the giant spider, no, a bit. And to finish up this video, let's speak about the population, the Yama, also known as dwarf. But yeah, we spoke a bit about dragon, but they are not exactly a population or civilization. You know what I mean. First up, why Yama? Truth is, it's only a change of name or word made by a dwarf king just before the Great War that ended at the year 0 of the calendar. There was a great war, great conflict finished, and yeah, this is the spot of the year 0. We decided this is the year 0 now. Yeah, this is the explanation of the calendar of the dwarf. They decided to fight the gods and conquer the whole world. Yeah, megalomaniac a bit. And the king chose to change the name of his people. He approached more and more the technology and demonic science via the alchemists, amongst other means, which they were already present in the Ilgad's people of old, but they were much more hidden. And already at this time, the dwarf, the common dwarf, knew that, yeah, alchemy is not a nice thing. The dwarves are very much a secluded people. They live in the west of the mountain chain of Penance, and they pretty much stay there. By the way, this is the dwarf who named the mountain chain. In fact, they send their worst prisoner or condemned to death, like the worst people you can imagine ever. And they leave them a chance via exile, and they send them to the mountain chain. And if they manage to survive and traverse the mountain to purge their sin, yeah, okay, you can live. You won your right to live. But the rate of success is very low. The dwarves are very talented with technology and science, and they live in a part of the world with very much shit. Indeed, it rains very often, almost always in this part of the world, and sunny days are very rare. They quickly decided to shelter themselves because, yeah, it's nice to have a roof and all, and they live underground. When they saw the low natural resources available to them on the surface, yeah, they said, yeah, we just dig a hole and live in there. Thus, they found the richest hidden below ground, and they decided to stay below ground. There is practically nothing who grow in this continent and this part of the world, with the exception of a few things they grow below ground. But on the surface, there is almost nothing, like mud, stone, so far the eye can see. For the very old history of the dwarf, there is a common tale, which is true by the way. One day the great spider Torwa found and helped a dwarf who had a broken wheel on his carriage. Following this event, Torwa was considered almost like a goddess amongst the dwarf, and thus the cult of the spider began, which propelled the dwarven population as one of the richest and most prosperous population and civilization ever. The following of this relationship was not so joyful, but this is another story. Take care, internet. Mwah.